Hello, my name is Eddie Wall, Product Manager at Arbor Snowboards, and today I'm going to show you how to set up and adjust your new Arbor bindings. The first thing you're going to do, take your bindings out, you set them on your board, and you're going to open up this hardware bag, which you may have already done because this is the QR code that links you to this video. But if not, this is your warranty information as well as some instructions and tech features of the bindings. You're going to have your 2 discs that you're going to place into the bindings, and then you also have your bolts and washers. The first thing you're going to want to do before you attach the bindings to your board is decide if you are going to want to adjust your toe straps. Some people prefer to have the toe straps come directly across the top of the boot, and other people prefer to have it come onto the toe cap of the boot. If you prefer to have it come over your toe cap, you will look and see underneath the binding you can push in and you can adjust this strap and move it forward and pull it back up into place. And then you would do the same thing over here with the ladder. Push it in, pull it up, and there you go. And now your binding straps will be able to come over the toe cap of your boot. The second thing you're going to want to do before actually attaching the binding to the board, if you have a larger boot, you are most likely going to want to adjust this toe ramp forward a little bit. And so I'll show you how to do that right now. You'll see looking down there's just a screw, and you just loosen up that screw and you'll see 3 separate settings to adjust the toe ramp. Once you loosen the screw all the way, sometimes it can be a little tricky to pop out. So I suggest maybe grabbing a pen or something small. You turn the binding over and you just push the screw out and it should pop right out. Once it has popped out, then you can adjust it forward or backwards depending on your boot size. For the sake of this video, we'll bring it all the way to the highest setting. We'll flip it back over, at which point you can line up the screw with the hole and tighten it back up. Once you have adjusted your toe straps and toe ladder to the proper position that you prefer, and also the gas pedal if you have a larger foot, then you can now put the binding onto the board, and you're going to begin with lifting up this EVA footbed right here. It just snaps up fairly easily. I like to fold it over and have the binding hold it like that. And then you would take your disc and place it into the binding to find your stance. Once you place the disc into the base plate, that's when you'll decide on the degree and angle that you would like your binding. As you will see, there's little notches in separation of 3 degrees each. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, for example. For the sake of this video, we're going to do positive 18. So you're going to find the 15, and then you'll go 1 more notch to find 18, and then you're going to place the binding back on the board. Once you have your angles decided, then you can decide your width. If you're smaller, you're generally going to have a narrower width, and if you're taller, you're generally going to have a wider width stance. For the sake of this video, you'll see on the board there's usually a suggested width stance. So right now we're going to line them up with that. And when you place the binding down on the board, you're going to notice that you're going to be able to adjust it in this channel even more to get a very specific stance in case you want something like 21.5, for example. So now that your angles are figured out, your stance width is figured out, and it's all lined up with the inserts in the channel, now you are going to screw the bindings onto the board using the hardware. The washers are going to go down first. And then you're going to put the screws into the washers. Once you have screwed the bolts into the inserts of the board, then you are going to fold down the EVA footbeds and just click them back into place. Now that your binding is attached to the board, you grab your boot, tie it up as if it was on your foot, and then you're going to place it in the binding to find out how the straps are going to fit and if you need to adjust them or not. As you can see, if you start to adjust this binding, the toe strap, you want this circle here to be lined up right in the middle of your boot. So We're gonna need to adjust this toe strap right here. And as you can see, you can do it without a tool. You just flip this up and then you just turn it counterclockwise. Take it all the way out, and then you'll see there's 4 different holes. So if you have a very small boot, you would push it down, and if you have a very big boot, you'll pull it all the way to the last setting. In this case, I believe we're gonna go to the 3rd setting. So let me push this back in. Then when it's tight, you just flip this back down, and now pull it over, tighten it all the way up. And as you can see, this center circle is centered on the toe cap. Now to adjust the ankle strap, as you can see, when we first put this boot in, it's not even large enough for the ladder to hook on. So we're gonna need to adjust it over here. This is also a toolless adjuster. You flip this up, you just rotate it counterclockwise. It's very simple. And on the ankle strap, you actually have 6 different holes to adjust it. In this case, we're gonna slide it up to the 2nd to last hole. If you pull the strap completely off, you'll notice there is a small rivet here. So you can actually, that will help you line it up with the hole. For this case, we'll do it onto the 2nd hole down, insert the toolless adjuster, and then when it's tight, you just snap it back down, and now it will fit a little bit better. And if you see, a good reference is to have the Arbor writing and logo right in the center of your boot. On the Spruce and Acacias, to adjust the forward lean of the high back, you are going to want to adjust the whole high back either forward for less forward lean or backwards for more forward lean. So we have to unscrew this. In this case, we're going to do less forward lean. So unscrew this bolt here. Once the bolt is out, you will see that you have 2 pieces here, and the 3rd piece is still in the binding. Now you would just line up the high back hole with the 3rd hole. You'll notice this has 2 flat ends and 2 rounded ends, and that's just gonna help hold it steady as you screw it in. In this case, we're gonna insert it because we want less forward lean to this most forward hole, and then you're actually going to flip this piece over and then put the screw into the nut. Once you tighten this up, you will see that you have the lowest amount of forward lean that you can have. And if you want to adjust it to the 2nd binding, then you will have a middle forward lean.